So this is our flow, right? So if you see in the flow, we have a number of shapes. Okay, assignment, decision, sub-process, utility, start shape and shape, some of automation shapes like to load the data page or to send email or to create a PDF or to change the stage. Okay, so approval stage and waiting shape. So in advanced shapes, split join, spin off. So like this, we have number of shapes in the flow. By going forward, we will deal with some of the shapes. And here the thing is, the main thing we need to see about a draft on and draft off. Currently, the draft is on. See, let's suppose I'm removing the flow action here. I just remove the flow action, and if there is nothing here in the outbound connector, but still it is saving. It means is it good or not good? You don't have any screen to perform on the flow, but still it is saved. Is it right?
Sorry, what was the question? Please say again.
There is nothing in the connector shape. I mean, there is no section to display in the connector shape.
Okay.
But still it is saved. Is it okay or not?
I'm not sure. You see a warning there? What is that warning? Something else?
Warning?
Yeah, that yellow banner on top.
No.
Okay,
This thing is other. It is like if we miss anything,
okay,
like we
okay,
need
no
to
worries.
create test case like that. It's showing some good practices, but
Okay,
it's not like that. See, if you don't have any screen to perform on the AI, it is not. It throw an error like, so there is no flow action should be called on the connector, but it is not getting an error because the flow is in draft on mode. Draft on is nothing but if draft is on, the flow is nothing but a dummy flow. So it
oh,
is
okay,
a real flow.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So the main thing that we need to remember here is when we are sending our code to higher environments, we need to make sure that the flow is in draft off mode. It means the flow should be in its original state, not a dummy flow. Okay. Now it is dummy flow. I'm just turning it off now. So draft off. Now this is original flow. Now we can see flow action value cannot be blank for outgoing connector of assignment customer details. Now we are getting error. Okay.
Okay,
Understand about what is draft on and draft off and what is meant by draft on. Draft on is nothing but dummy flow.
okay.
Just want to change the name. If you want to change the flow name, we can also double click on here. We can also edit here. So this is about draft. So make sure that every time that the draft mode is off. Okay. And the next thing is design. Again, draft on is there. I think we didn't save it or what. Save. Okay. Okay. Now, uh, when we created that thing, like when we run the flow, we are seeing one more screen, right? Let me show you. See, yesterday we created flow, right? We created one work object. I mean, one case ID, but now it is not there. Why? Because yesterday whatever the thing that we did is that is a dummy flow. For dummy flow, we can make run it even if nothing is there. Okay, but now it is a original flow. Okay, if we see in actions, we cannot able to see the run option, right? So if you want to make the original flow to run, I mean, if you want to make the original flow to create an work object, so what we need to do is we need to go to the process and click on create a new work object. Okay. Now we can see some options are displaying. If we click on here, so we can see the harness things and data transform work part is like. Okay. Now just save this. Now we can able to see the run option. Okay, this is how we can make original flow to be create an work object. Without selecting this option in the draft off mode, we cannot able to run the flow. It means we cannot able to create a work object ID with this flow. Okay, so now if we run, we can run it. So remember this one. Now, firstly, we are getting this page. Okay, so just remember this point. Create. So this is our screen. Okay, and the thing is, whatever the details that we entered in this thing, those all details will be stored in one work object. If you see the work object ID c dash 222 001. Okay, so the thing is, this is work object ID. How we are getting this work object ID? I mean c dash. The number will be generated by PEGA randomly. Okay, but about what about this initial c? Where we are getting this one? If we go to the flow and go in flow in process, we have data transform is there. Py default data transform. If you open this, see py work id prefix. You seeing right? The fourth step. Py work id prefix is the responsible to create a work object id prefix. Okay, if you want to suppose instead of C, what is our application ICICI Auto I, right? So if you want to make it as ICICI-001 like that, we need to save as this data transform into our rule set. But and instead of doing like this, okay, this is one place that we cannot we can able to change the work ID prefix. And one more thing is we can simply open the application definition. Here also we can give the name, work ID prefix, and implementation class. Implementation is class is nothing but Currently the flow is in framework class, right? So here we can give the framework work class ICI work ID prefix. I want ICICI. Name nothing. Use checkbox to indicate which case are designed to create by individuals. Select this one. Save. Now I'm closing this one. And one more thing, before creating work object, I mean, if we run the flow, it is directly creating work object. No, some kind of harness is coming. Then we click create. Then only it will go to the work object. If you want, in order to remove that extra screen, instead of default, we need to select the PY case management default. Now save this. Now if we run, let's see. Now run. Now we are not getting that screen directly. We can able to see the work object, and if you see the work ID prefix, right? ICICI, it is changed from C dash to ICICI dash. Okay, in both places, like in order to do it from data transform, we can save as the data transform into our rule set, or if you want it from, we can also do from the application definition itself. Okay, we can make the implementation class, and we can choose whatever the work ID prefix that we want to choose, and we select the checkbox to make it visible in the web. Okay, understand? So draft draft name is nothing but a dummy flow, and we have seen whether while draft on how it will be, and while draft off how it will be, and we changed the work ID prefix, and we removed the extra skin which is coming before the work object creation. And I think so. When draft is off, it means when it is the original state, the flow is in original state. We need to select the create a new work object in the process category. Okay, and the next thing is like we already seen these things in whatever the data that we entered in the. We already seen the backend table, right? PC underscore ICICI insurance work. Yesterday we have only one, but now we have three because we created two work object IDs today. Let's check for the PY ID. So PY ID is nothing but which is holding the work object ID, right? So this is PY ID C21001. This is yesterday one. C22001 today's one. ICICI dash one. These two are today we have created. This is the yesterday one. Okay, everything whatever the work object ID that we created, everything will be stored into the backend table.
Will the key be different? P C insert key. for the new object?
For
For the new object, what is a PZINS key?
new work objects,
Yeah.
the last the name will be changed. That's it. Let me show you. See, this is the PJ dynasty. Both are different, right?
PZINS key. Okay.
Hmm?
Okay, got it. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. And next one is where the data that we entered in the work object will be stored in the table. It directly will store into the columns, or how it will be
The-
stored.
You said inside the blob, right?
Yeah, right. So if we have a requirement like that we need to store a data for each individual column, then we need to create a columns. Then the data will be entered into the columns, respective columns. So how we can do like is we can do many ways like we can directly alter the table in backend, okay, and map that table name to the property, or we can create a data type we can configure the data type source, then it will create a separate table. Like we have number of ways. By going forward we can see now table mapping. I think table mapping is done, right? How we can see the table mapping? Did you remember?
Where you go to the class and then do test input or something?
Text connectivity.
Test connectivity.
Table mapping is nothing but whatever the class that we are viewing, the class, suppose now see we have where we have created the work object framework work class, right? This framework work class is connected to which table? VC underscore ICICI underscore framework underscore ICICI insurance underscore work, right? So this is about the table mapping. By name itself, we can understand like the class is mapped to one particular table. If you want to see the table mapping, right click on the class name, click on definition, text connection. Here we can see the table mapping. ICICI auto work is mapped to table data dash data is schema name PC underscore ICICI underscore ICICI auto underscore work. So this is the table mapping for the implementation work class. Okay. So the table mapping is only for the concrete class only. We cannot able to see the table mapping for abstract class. If you see, if I change this to abstract, we cannot see the table mapping. Only for the concrete classes, we have the table mapping. And so that is about the table mapping, right? And we can also see like directly click view sysadmin database table. Here also we can see this is the class and this is the table name that is mapped and this is the database name. Okay. If you want to see, you can go to the definition, click on text connection, or if you want to see see it directly, right click view sysadmin database table. Okay. Both ways we can see. So if you think which one is simple, you can go with that. Okay.
Okay.
Next one is today we will see about the one of the debugging tool. What are the debugging tools that we have in PEGA?
Tracer, clipboard.
Mhm.
That's all I know.
live UI.
Okay.
Today we will see about the clipboard. Let's see. I'm creating flow again. Open the clipboard. See whatever the data that we are entered into the UI, everything will be stored in one page mostly. What is the page name? POI work page. So POI work page is the thing which storing all the values on the UI. See POI work page. POI work page is referring to which class? Framework work class, because our flow is running on the free framework work class constant context. If you open the flow, currently we don't have any page properties, nothing. So you can directly click on the POI work page. You can see the age, city, country, date of birth, email, first name, gender, everything we can see. Okay, include the PXO PJ class, and uh, PJ Dynasty is also there. Let me show you the PJ Dynasty. So PJ Dynasty is there, and the PY work ID prefix. Okay, these are all OOTB properties. PY submit label. Okay, so all these things we can also see in the where we can see all these things in somewhere where in the backend database table. Okay, currently we don't have any data. If give any data, test test one. Now we have given the data. Open the clipboard again. Go to the PY work page. Did we get the data?
No.
Hmm?
No, do we need to refresh or
Okay, just refreshed.
I don't know.
It is not getting. Why?
Because you didn't submit. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because we didn't submit. See,
Okay.
whenever the commit happens, then only the data should be stored into the clipboard. Then after from clipboard to database table. Without committing the data, how it can able to store, right? So when commit will be happen when we click on submit button, then only the commit will be happen. We can ask like, so there is a requirement like instead of submit, when I provided the data on one property and I just moved to the another property, whatever the data that I've given in the previous property, that data will automatically stored into the clipboard. Okay, if the requirement is like that, uh, we can do like on the property action set, we can use the post value. The thing will also we can see. Okay, the post value, then whenever we give the first name value and whenever we move to the last name, then the first name data will automatically posted to the clipboard when we use the action set there. Okay, now the data cannot be stored into the clipboard. Now I'm submitting. Okay, it's submitted. Now open the clipboard. Which page? PY work page. Now the data is came, right? Okay, so in clipboard we have number of pages: user pages, data pages, linked property pages, system pages. Okay, so system pages is nothing but the pages which responsible for the some system settings is known as system settings. I mean system pages. For suppose, for example, if you want to see the access group or your operator ID or your email, whatever thing that we want to see, everything will be available in system pages. If you see access group, application operator ID, click on operator ID, you can see the see operator ID. This is our operator ID, and this is the PX obj class of operator ID, and this is the his access group. Okay, and who updated the operator id and what is the time zone. Okay, and font, everything will be seen here. Okay, and pjdns key of this operator. Okay, so these pages are like system pages. We cannot do anything on the system pages. Link group property pages we are not going to deal. Data pages, when we are come up with the data, when we are dealing with data pages, that will clearly then we can discuss, because there are number of things in data pages, thread request or not. Now the main thing is user pages. So user pages is the thing where our actual transactions or actual work object ids data will be stored. Okay, user pages are nothing but uh, editable pages. Okay, whatever the data in the user pages, we can also able to manipulate the data. Okay. Okay, now 1 minute. Okay, now we want to, let's see how we can why we are using page properties. Let's show an example why we are going to use the page properties. Let's suppose I'm creating one more section, user interface section, customer details, right? I'm creating manager details section. Okay, manager details, convert full section editor. Now I'm taking some of the properties, data capture, text input, last name text input, and date time, and because just for example I just taking only 4 properties. So this is double click, first name, last name, date of birth, save buttons dot gender. Go to the presentation, drop down list, enable calendar, drop down. Next is 0, EBS 100 years, submit. Now I have created one more section, and in order to display this section, we need a flow action. Let me create one more flow action. Create flow action. What is the flow action? Manager details. Manager details. Save. Okay, and go to the flow. Customer details flow. Take one more assignment. Manager details. Save. Now run the flow. Just observe. Okay, what is the wrong it's happening? What are the properties that we have given? Manager, paste, gender, and date of birth. Going to click on submit. The data is automatically pre-populated. Okay, is it okay? It is just general terms. These things. Why different terms? What context? Yeah. So customer is different, manager is different, right? So in order, if you want to, like, if you want to manage it, if you want manager details separately, what we need to do according to the things up to we have learned. If you want to manage details separately, what we need to do, we need to again create a manager first name property, manager last name property, and manager date of birth, manage gender, like this we need to create a properties, right? So instead of that, we can use the page properties. Page properties is like, suppose I have all one page I have created. Okay, on the page I have created a number of suppose I have customer page. In the customer page I have a number of properties. Okay, and what we can do is like, we can create one more page like manager details. In the manager details we can refer the customer details thing. I mean customer details class, we can refer the customer details class. Then what it will be happen, for customer details, how we can use the properties like customer page dot property, like customer name, customer dot first name, customer dot last name. Like that we gonna refer the properties. If come to the manager, we can use the same properties. We are not going to create one another properties. Manager dot first name, manager dot last name. Okay, like some other if any another person is came like employee, we can use the same properties again like employee dot first name, employee dot last name. Like that we can going to use. Okay, so that is the use of page property. Let me show you page properties. So uh, make uh, make a note. Business requirement like is a kind of business requirement. Okay, can I go ahead? So working with a data class, properties in data class. Create a data class by name vehicle. Uh, the properties are first one win, first one VIN, first property, vehicle identification number. Uh, second one manufacturing company. Third one manufacturing year, and fourth one model, and the fifth one is uh, prior insurance. Yeah. Second one create this in implementation data class. Okay, so now we are going to see that requirement. Today, just see how we are going to clear creating the classes. Okay, and how we are going to creating the properties. The next day, I mean tomorrow, we can see what are the data classes, how many data classes that are created automatically while creating application. Those things we can see. Okay, not data page, data class. Yeah, data class is nothing but an abstract class. Okay, which is useful to refer the data. So in order to create a page properties, we need a data class. Okay. Mhm. First of all, we will complete this requirement for now. So what is the thing that we need to create a data class in the implementation data class, right? So this is implementation work class. So implementation data class is like just remove the work. Now you can see the data. So this is data. So this is the implementation application data class. So how we can create a class in this? Just right click. Yeah, it is already there. That's what I'm saying. Like some of the classes, like for organization, for framework, or for implementation. So some kind of data class are already created by PEGA while we are creating our application. This is data class is there, but we are extending this data class. Okay. So I just want to create a class in this one. If you want to create a class, just right click, create. Create a sysadmin class. So label whatever the label that you want, we can give. Currently, we are going to win, right? So giving vehicle details or vehicle. I'm simply giving the vehicle. Now, what is the class name that you want? The class name also we need to create. That is hyphen. This is the class that I am going to create. Vehicle. Create it in implementation one. Okay. Auto I. Create and now. So what? The ICICI Auto I data vehicle class is created. What is the parent for this class? ICICI Auto I data is the parent for this class. Just save this one. Value cannot be blank value. Okay, we need to provide the usage and history. User to okay. Now save right. Just save this one and close. Just refresh the App Explorer. Now see vehicle is created. Okay, hyphen vehicle. So now we are in vehicle class, data vehicle class. So if you want to create a properties, how we are going to create a properties? How? What is the process? What is the navigation to create a properties? Okay, right click, create data model property, right? So instead of doing like this, if we do like this, we need to create the property like one property after one property like that. We are going to create. It is a time-taking process. Instead of that, now I'm showing the thing like we can create multiple properties at a time. That is how right click, click on view in data designer. Here click on add field. Here we are going to add the fields. So what is the first one? So bin is single line property and description. In description, I am going to provide vehicle identification number. Okay. Submit and add another. What is the next one? Manufacturing company is also a text. Submit and add another. Manufacturing. Here. Here is an integer property, right? You can choose the type as integer. Let's see integer. Okay. And submit. What is the next one? Model is text only property. Submit and add another. One. So prior insurance, we can choose it as radio buttons, whether you have insurance or not. Okay. Uh, Radio buttons. Do we have radio buttons? Time only, percentage, integer, email, data, currency, text, paragraph, phone. Mhm. We can use pick list then. Yes. So submit. Sorry, I think just submit. Mm, so these are the five properties, right? Only five properties only, right? So this is how we can create multiple properties at a time. Okay, just save this. It is saved. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow you will see about the what is more about data classes and the business requirement with page, whatever the example that we have discussed previously, that manager thing, the page properties. So tomorrow you will see about more about data classes and business requirement related to the uh, that page properties. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what are the topics that we have cleared today? First thing, okay, we have discussed about the debugging tool. Then previously, then okay, then next, yeah, changing the work object ID prefix. Okay, next one. That's it, right? I think.
Yeah. Data classes and creating multiple properties using data designer.
Okay, I think that's it. Data classes, multiple properties creating, and a draft on differences, and how to change the work object ID prefix, and we just saw the how the table mapping will be. We can see it from the text connection, or we can also see from the database table on the class itself. And I think that's it on today, right?
Yeah.
So what about tomorrow? Tomorrow I think Saturday, right? Weekend. So are you going to plan to, to attend the session, or
Don't know, up to you. Either way is fine for me.
yeah, I'm okay because you guys